The mirror of still water, a parable about reflection. High in the mountains, where clouds clung to the cliffs and silence lived deeper than stone, there existed a pool so still it was said to reflect not only the image of the world, but the nature of the one who gazed into it. This pool lay within a circular basin of smooth granite, shaped not by hands but by centuries of wind, snow, and time. It was not fed by any visible stream. The water seeped in from the mountain's breath itself, gathering in silence, never overflowing. It had no name. It needed none. Those who found the pool often came by accident. It was not marked by signs or sought by pilgrims. It revealed itself only to those whose wandering was neither aimless nor directed, those who moved without seeking and paused without planning. One such wanderer was a man who had once studied scrolls, listened to teachers, and traveled across kingdoms in pursuit of wisdom. But over time, the sound of teachings began to echo without meaning. The words of sages blurred into each other. Answers began to feel like heavier forms of questions. So he set all books aside and walked into the mountains, away from teachings, away from speech. For many days he followed paths made by animals and rivers. He climbed until the air thinned and all sound but the wind was gone. When he reached the granite basin, the pool appeared as a simple hollow of dark glass, unmoving, clear, infinite in depth. He sat beside it without purpose. The pool reflected the sky perfectly, but also something more. When he leaned closer, he saw not just his face, but his silence. Not just his body, but his longing. The reflection changed subtly with the thoughts that moved behind his eyes. When he grew restless, the water trembled slightly. When he grew calm, it deepened. He spent many days by the pool. At first he tried to control what he saw. He adjusted his posture, slowed his breath, held images of serenity in his mind. But the pool revealed every attempt. It mirrored effort as tension, control as distortion. The more he tried to appear calm, the more agitated the water became. Eventually, he stopped trying. He sat not to practice, but to rest. Not to achieve, but to receive. Not to attain understanding, but to witness what rose when nothing was grasped. Only then did the water become truly still. And when it did, his reflection showed him not just his face, but the shape of his being. He saw memories long buried, a kindness forgotten, a bitterness unhealed, a joy never fully held. Each emotion moved across the water like passing clouds, visible, fleeting, harmless when untouched. He began to understand. The reflection did not judge. It did not flatter. It offered no conclusion. It simply revealed. On the seventh morning he saw something that stopped him. The pool showed no image at all. It was not that the surface had turned dull. It remained as clear and quiet as ever. But when he gazed into it, there was no face, no form, only sky, trees, and clouds. At first he thought it a trick of light. He leaned closer, turned his head. Still, no image of himself appeared. He placed his hand above the water. No shadow, no ripple. Only the world remained, whole and unbroken. Panic stirred briefly, then faded, and he understood. The reflection was not gone. It had dissolved because the boundaries between him and the world had dissolved. What he once called self had thinned into presence. Where once there was a watcher and a seeing, now there was only seeing. The pool had not changed. He had. He stayed a while longer, then rose without urgency. He left the basin as he found it, untouched, undisturbed. The mountains received him without remark. The wind passed around him like old breath finding its way home. When he returned to the valleys below, the people did not notice any difference in his face. He did not speak of the pool. He did not claim insight or wear the robes of one who knows. He simply lived quietly, tending the land, mending what was broken, listening when others could not. But when he looked at others, they felt seen. When he was silent, others heard their own hearts more clearly. When he wept, it was not sorrow, but reverence. They began to say he carried a mirror inside him, not of glass but of stillness, not of silver but of deep water, and that those who stood near him began to see not him, but themselves. He never explained this. He had no teachings, only the life he lived. No followers, only those who learned from his listening. He planted trees with young hands. He built walls with steady stone. He watched the stars in winter and gave bread without name to those who knocked. Years passed. He grew older and the lines in his face deepened like riverbeds. When he moved, it was as though the air parted softly, unwilling to disturb him. People came to ask for wisdom, but he gave them tea. They waited for guidance, and he offered them rest. Some stayed, some wept. All left lighter. And when he died, he left behind no writings, no temple, no mark. Only a path worn faintly through the trees, leading upward, to the pool, that still waited, still reflected, still revealed, to those who no longer searched, only saw, and reflection. This parable is about the transformative power of true reflection, not as a mental exercise, but as a surrender into stillness. The pool represents the pure awareness within each of us. When the mind settles, when effort falls away, what remains is not absence but clarity. In this clarity, we do not find conclusions. We find what is, and that is enough.